The Kershaw Bel Air is one of those knives that quietly checks a lot of boxes. For a pretty competitive price, you're getting a USA-made folder, MagnaCut steel, aluminum scales, and a smooth crossbar-style lock, all in a lightweight package built for everyday carry. So today we're going to take a look to see whether the Bel Air actually lives up to the hype. Now, as always, I'll have links in the pinned comment and description if you want to check one out for yourself. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. So, first spec, let's talk about price. The prices on these range from $130 to around $200 retail, and that depends on the version that you get as far as the scale material and things like that. The overall length is 7.3 inches, and the blade length is 3.1 inches. This one is a reverse tanto blade. There is also a clip point blade available. The blade stock is very, very thin and slicey. It's 0.09 of an inch. Now, mine has a black wash finish, but you can also get it in stone wash, black PVD coated, or even a tiger stripe version. And most of these are a standard blade, but you can also get one that's partially serrated too. I think that's a rescue edition or something like that. Actually, I think there's a rescue edition and then just a standard one that also has a partially serrated blade. Now, all versions except one use MagnaCut steel, and that one exception uses Damascus steel. And if I remember right, I believe Kershaw uses Alabama Damascus for their Damascus. Now, MagnaCut probably needs no introduction. It's one of the most well-rounded steels currently on the market. It has excellent corrosion resistance, very good toughness, and pretty respectable edge retention as well. Now, as far as the scales, mine has tan aluminum. This was the only option available when I bought mine because I bought this pretty soon after it first came out. And they also have scale options available in different colors of aluminum like this, micarta and also carbon fiber. And best of all, for some people, this is made in the USA. Now, there is also a larger version that has a 3.4-inch blade, and that is called the Bel Air XL. Now, one thing to notice if you're shopping on Amazon, several of the standard Bel Airs have the blade length listed at 3.4 inches in the title. So when you're buying those, just make sure you're paying attention to whether it's marked the XL or not, because the ones that are not marked the XL, to my understanding, are the ones that are this size. So just make sure you're paying attention to that to make sure you're getting the right one. So specs out of the way. How are the ergos on this? You might think, because of the very angular design of the handle and scales here, that it would be uncomfortable. But the edges are really rounded nicely. And it's kind of in that Goldilocks zone for me of neither being too thin or too thick. Now, I can get a full 4-finger grip on mine, and my index finger rests really nicely in that little cutout they have for the thumb stud there, but it's extremely comfortable for me to hold. Now, with the scales being aluminum, they are a bit slicker than most, which, like I mentioned, you can get micarta or carbon fiber, which will probably have a little bit better grip. But this does have almost like a slight chalkboard texture to it. So that does help you get a little bit of extra grip. And for me, there are no hot spots. Maybe over time, the pocket clip might start to be a hot spot for you, but in my use, and I've used this quite a bit, I have not noticed that is really a hot spot. So as far as the lock and the action, it uses Kershaw's DuraLock, which is their version of the crossbar lock. And I found it to be really smooth and easy to operate. It isn't my favorite version of the crossbar lock, but it's definitely a good one. The action rides on bearings, which probably are not able to see there. But I'm usually more of a washers guy, but this action has definitely won me over. It's so smooth that I actually described it as almost feeling loose, but not in a bad sense. It just is so easy to flick open and shut. It's a lot smoother than you would expect. But there's no quality control issues. It's really just that smooth of an action. The lockup is solid, as with all crossbar lock designs. It keeps your fingers out of the path of the blade, which is always a huge plus for me. So on to carry and practicality. At under 3 ounces and having the flat sides as you see here, it really disappears in your pocket. I will bring out the old pocket and belt simulator here. So you can see before I put it in there that the pocket clip goes actually up beyond the base of the scale. So it really does disappear down into your pocket. Like, you can't even tell that this is a knife because you literally, when you're looking at it from here, you can't see what is in there. You don't see any part of the knife sticking out. Now, one of the downsides of this pocket clip, because otherwise I really like it, it is not inset here. So that would have been a nice little touch as far as, you know, making it more refined and making it easier to put in and out of your pocket so it doesn't catch on that. But especially for the price, that's not a time saver. Or that for the price, it's not a deal breaker. That's what I was trying to say. But it does save on cost, so that probably helps keep the cost down a little bit. Now, something to note as far as the legal side of carrying goes is that the blade is just above 3 inches at 3.1 inches. Now, when this was originally released, it was advertised as 3 inches, and that's a big part of the reason that I bought it, because if you watch enough of my videos, you know that I live in an area that has a 3-inch blade restriction. And I went back and checked the specs in the email that they sent me, because it listed the specs where I bought it from, and it said a 3-inch blade. And I recall seeing it on the Kershaw website as well. Now, that might not seem like much just because it's 0.1 inch of blade difference, but if you're really trying to stay legal when you're traveling through an area, or if you live in an area with 3-inch blade length restrictions, that can be a big deal. Now, as far as practical use, the really thin slicey blade is awesome for most EDC tasks. Most of us are cutting cardboard or opening packages. So, you know, not that this is like a razor blade, but I mean, you're getting to the point of like a utility knife razor blade sometimes with how thin and slicey this is. And it's great for those things. And actually one that I have noticed that is really helpful for is things like cutting fruit. So like cutting into an apple and things like that, because this is an extremely slicey blade. And also something that people don't consider sometimes with that is, with this being MagnaCut steel and being extremely corrosion resistant, cutting things like oranges, apples, they're going to be more acidic. So they're going to be more likely to patina a knife. And between the black wash finish and the MagnaCut just being very good at preventing corrosion, great option for stuff like that. So on to build quality. Now, the fit and finish on this is exactly what you'd expect from a modern USA made Kershaw. The blade centering is good, so you can see there. Like I mentioned earlier, the action feels almost loose because it's so smooth, but as you can see, there is no blade play there at all. It is perfectly solid. And I'm like, that's one of the most impressive things to me about this is how they can get the action to be so darn smooth, but there is no blade play when it's open is just incredible to me. Now, the black wash finish on the blade, as I mentioned, it does a really nice job of hiding wear. I've used this quite a bit, and you could really barely tell. I'm usually more of a traditional stonewash guy. I just really like the look of that silver stonewash blade, but this black wash has definitely won me over. Now, one of the things that I'm not a humongous fan of is the size of the screws. So the pivot is a T8, so that is good. But all the smaller screws are all T6 here, which for pocket screws, that doesn't bother me that much. But for the body screws, I really wish they would have gone with T8 for these. And the thumb stud here is also a T6. I actually thought that was a T4 when I first looked at it, but it is in fact a T6. So little minor quibble with that, because I just really prefer T8s because you're less likely to mess up your bit and things like that, but not the end of the world. But really, specs and materials are only part of the story. So how does it stack up against some of the other popular EDC knives? So let's take a look at it next to the Spyderco Pair 3. You can see it's a pretty similar size there. And another Spyderco, the Spyderco Sage 5. They're all kind of in that same size class. Obviously, you can see the blade shape is different, but very similar size-wise. And it is a little bit deeper carry than all of these. And possibly one of the most popular knives as far as EDC goes, the Benchmade Mini Bug Out. Probably not as popular as the regular Bug Out, but blade length loss, so I have the Mini Bug Out. And last but not least, the Kizer Drop Bear. And so all of these are going to, like the Sage and the Pair 3 are going to come in a decent bit more expensive than this one. This is S45VN. This is MaxMit. This is definitely going to come in more expensive, but that's because of the steel. But all of these actually cost me more than the Kershaw. So the Kershaw Bel Air. So that's something kind of impressive about all this is actually the cheapest knife out of this entire group as far as what I paid for it. So on to the pros and the cons of the Kershaw Bel Air. So the number one pro for me has to be the price. To get MagnaCut steel and aluminum scales at this price is just straight up an awesome deal. It has a very smooth action, like I mentioned, and that's thanks to the crossbar lock and the bearings. It carries extremely deep and comfortably thanks to that pocket clip. And because it matters for some people, it is made in the USA, so that is definitely a plus. So as far as the cons, so the aluminum scales do feel a little bit slick. They don't bother me as far as how I'm using it because I'm not using it extremely hard or anything like that. But they do have other materials available that will give you a little bit better grip. So there is at least that. There is limited aftermarket support on this compared to something like the Benchmade Bug Out, which when you're trying to compete with the Bug Out on aftermarket, that's just a hard battle to win. Sorry. And last but not least, the biggest con for me is the 3.1 inch blade. It's going to be too large for some more restrictive areas. The fact that it was advertised as 3 inches before is kind of unfortunate to me, just because, I mean, not that it was really truly a bait and switch, but I bought it with that being, assuming that was the case, and then it ended up not actually being a 3-inch bladed knife. So ultimately, would I buy it again? I would say definitely. My only qualm is that blade length. That would be the one thing that may prevent me from buying it personally, just because of the laws that I'm dealing with in the area. But it is so close to 3 inches, I'm probably fine on that. But the Kershaw Bel Air really hits a nice sweet spot with premium materials and a very satisfying action at an extremely reasonable price, and it's all while being made in the USA, and that is hard to find these days. But I'm curious, what do you think? Is the Bel Air the new crossbar lock king? Do you think the Bug Out still beats it, or is there another crossbar lock knife that you like better than both? Let me know down in the comments, and if you found this review helpful, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.